Tell us how you got involved in National Day of Beauty to help domestic violence.
Well, you know, my journey with this issue goes back many years ago. As a young prosecutor, I started one of the first domestic violence units in the nation in 1978. And this month, October, is, of course, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And the Empire Beauty School is hosting a National Day of Beauty this Saturday, October 9th, where all the proceeds from their beauty schools will go directly, that's 100% of them, to local domestic violence shelters. And, you know, I've worked with several companies, but this company has literally put its money where its mouth is, and they are training their salon professionals in their Cut It Out program to recognize domestic violence, the bruises, the contusions, to approach the subject very gingerly with clients, and to try to refer them to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, where over 5,000 resources are available. So this is a program that I support. They've raised more than $250,000 for victims of domestic violence. And this is a repeated program where you can get your hair and your nails done at a beauty school where you are, John, at 151 Broadway in Providence. And 100% of the proceeds go toward a battered women's shelter, which is so necessary in a battered woman's journey to find safety for herself and her children.
How important is it, given the state of the economy, everyone's trying to, pull back in their resources, but how important is it to have Empire Beauty step up and be, kind of a force with this issue?
John, you hit a very critical issue, and that is the economy. So many women are remaining in violent situations, and 1 out of 4 women in this country is a victim of domestic violence in her lifetime. And every day, 1 and sometimes 3 women are murdered by someone who said that he loved her. And so these shelters are essential. They give a woman an opportunity to get away, to get the help that she needs, and to make plans for her future. And the professionals in the Empire Beauty School know when to ask the questions. They know to be supportive and non-judgmental, and they are working toward making this world a better place. And so for me, someone who's prosecuted these cases and domestic violence, homicide cases as well, I know how critical this is, and that's why I'm sitting here all morning long making sure that people across the country realize how essential this is to the safety and security, not just of women, but of children who learn very early on that violence is the way that, you handle things in the home. Well, we're here to tell you it's not, and we're doing something about it. And of course, you can go to my website, judgejp.com, to connect with the National Domestic Violence Hotline, as well as the empiregivesback.com.
Now, you've seen it, of course, many times, but how can someone who maybe hasn't seen it recognize someone who's been in an abusive relationship?
Good question. The way they do it, John, is, look, if you've got a friend who's got real low self-esteem, they seem to be fearful of their abuser in particular, they seem to be isolated and pulling back, they've got unexplained bruises to which they attribute clumsiness or accidents, or, they are wearing inappropriate clothing for the weather. If it's really hot out and they're wearing a turtleneck, maybe they're covering marks, on their neck, on their arms, on their hands. Everyone knows someone who is a victim of domestic violence, and our job is to make them survivors of domestic violence. And the Empire Beauty School is doing just that. And what we can do indirectly is get a haircut, get your hair colored, get your nails done. 100% goes to battered women's shelters.
Now, if someone recognizes someone in that abusive relationship, what's their next step?
Well, if there is a beating that goes on in your apartment building or in your neighbor's house, and I know this from the many homicides that I handled as a DA and running the DA's office as the elected DA, is, making sure that you say something now, because so many times after a homicide has happened, people come out of the woodwork and they say, gee, we used to beat her and throw her up against the wall, or every Friday night he'd beat her, or whatever. It's time to make a call to the police or have a conversation and talk about a phony friend that you have who's a victim and how she got help. If you call the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-SAFE, then you are in a position of accessing resources for her and doing it in a way where you can save a life. Not many of us can do that in the course of our lifetime, but we can on this issue.
Absolutely. Last question, and thanks for the time. In the third season of the TV show We Year It here in Providence, how's it going this season?
It's going great. We've got an Emmy nomination under our belt. I've got a new bailiff who's 6'8" and makes sure there's a lot of order in the courtroom. And we've got a new segment on the docket where we actually marry people and we take direct questions about the economy, a home in foreclosure, being harassed at work. We're there to help people, to educate people, and to have a few laughs along the way.